first thing that I dislike about my car was since I first got it, you know, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, it was fun. It was cool. But eventually I got used to the power, and that's where I would say it's my first problem with the engine, is that it only makes stock crank-wise. It makes 160 horses to the, you know, to the crank, and to some that's good. To some that's enough. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I wanted more. Like, it's a 2.4 liter, and I don't know, man. I feel like it should have been making like around the 200 crank, you know, like 200 horses easily. Like, for that big size of an engine, like, I don't know, like. But that was under focus, I guess, with this engine, regardless. So it's torquey, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's not like high revving. No, this is just, it's a good engine for the most part. So, along with not having power, one of the main problems about this engine that even I went through about twice already was the high oil consumption. Yes, it is a problem about this engine. I don't think it's limited to this engine though, so just be wary about the oil. My second dislike would probably be the transmission, and particularly my transmission. I've never really had my shifting like butter smooth. I've never had that. So since I first got the car, the transmission already had a problem. Like 5th gear, like synchro was going out, and I got it replaced as well. I got new clutch, blah blah blah, and what I thought was smooth was not. It was not even fucking close. Wasn't even close. So I was like, okay. Once I started driving one of my friends, TC, which is actually a girl that owns it, and this happened this year. I drove her 05 or some shit, and it's stock, nothing, and then her shit, like, it was so smooth. I was just like, how the fuck? Like, it was like so easy to get into gears. It was just, so I know for sure it was my transmission. Now, granted, I did replace my transmission. It's a used transmission, but if it does go out, I have like a 1-year warranty. So it's a win, I guess. So, like, this is one thing that I dislike about overall. Like, I think I need a short shifter, but to fix this, watch that. I don't like that. I'm in gear right now. Like, that is just fucking bothering. Like, I don't know. So that would be probably number 2. Number 3 is probably how you guys can hear it, is the way my car sounds. I'm not a fan of how it sounds. Now, that is my fault, but at the same time, when you add a header to this car, like, you're bound to get raspiness unless you keep the stock mid pipe. But I have full exhaust, so I wasn't gonna keep the mid pipe. And then I added a resonator. I had a Flowmaster Hush Power 2 resonator, and even with that, it wasn't like the greatest thing. Coffee break. And even with that, it wasn't the greatest thing. I mean, it wasn't as raspy. It wasn't like how it is now, but still hasn't cleaned it up. This on. But now once I took off the resonator, because I thought the resonator was going out, it gave me this. So I will say that is partially my fault, partially the shop's fault, because they didn't call me. They didn't even tell me that all that was wrong with my car, or yeah, all that was wrong was a little piece of metal from the previous times I welded that resonator on. another thing I dislike. I mean, it is what it is. Live and learn, I guess you could say. So that's my third dislike. My fourth one would probably be coffee. Would probably be the aftermarket support. Now, and it was bad for a while. Couldn't find shit for the car. Now I could find little things here and there. So for sure, like the things you can. Is there a car behind me? There is. The things you can find is, yeah, seats, intake, exhaust, blah blah blah, and yeah, you can find a turbo kit, $5,000. I bought it used, but still. Ooh, is there an 8? Oh shit, never mind. That's an S5. I don't fuck with you. Not yet though. Aftermarket support. So for example, like let's just take my friend's RSX Type S. The amount of aftermarket support he has, and it's so cheap, but yet good of brands. It's fucking like just blows my fucking mind. Like he bought like he bought his solid mounts for like $100-something. I was like, all of them, all solid mounts, all name brand mounts, all three in a kit. I was like, you fucking kidding me? I hated that because I'm like, bro, I'm over here struggling to fucking look at one, and that's all they fucking got. Like no one else makes one, like a whole kit. They don't even sell them individually yet. I've been hunting the turbo kit. Like my friend could buy a turbo kit for his car for like $2,000. Like, and he doesn't have to do much modification to his car. So I mean, don't get me wrong, like we still got aftermarket support. Like there's still people that fuck with these cars, that fuck around with these cars, that do stuff to these cars, but slowly but surely they just stopped and moved on, and families, blah blah blah, whatnot. And if you want to like build this car, yeah, like either you know someone or you have connections, blah blah blah, to build your engine. That could be pretty pricey, but like for example, for me, pistons, rods, camshaft, springs, retainers, like the parts themselves will be like over. If I wanted to do stroker kit, it's like $3,000, and it comes with everything I just mentioned. So that's just the parts. Now imagine the labor. Now, good. Thankfully, I know the shop, like the ones that are gonna sponsor me when they do the turbo kit. But still, I still have to pay. Like what the fuck? And that's not cheap, you know. And overall, that's just a car game in general. But for like example, for my homies RSX, they did a lot of the old motor work and all that stuff for hella cheap, like less than $1,000. I was like, what the fuck? That's because they knew the engine. It was like they knew like the back of his hand, and it's just not a lot of people not a lot of people actually do a lot of performance mods on this car, which leads me into my fifth dislike. So the Scion community in general. Now I'm not talking about the Scion FRS, because I know that's still part of our community, but no, not them, because I feel like they're more into like the Subaru side of things. The Scion ones more like I want to focus on the TC one. So the TC, my biggest, it's not a pet peeve, but like my biggest dislike about most Scion TC owners is that either they focus on stance or they race the fuck out of these cars. Like basically, like if your stance is your thing and like lowering it and like looking like that is your thing, cool, power to you. I'm talking to people that race their fucking car out and then they try to race, and then like those people are what make me look bad. Like I'm not saying I'm a tuner, but like I'm taking my time. I'm trying to do it right, you know. Even though right now I sound like straight up garbage, but oh shit, car. Even though right now I sound like straight up garbage, like I'm still trying, you know. Like, so I don't know, man. So those are my 5 dislikes. The bikes, I'll talk in another portion, maybe later today.